Every operations leader I talk to says the same thing. I know I need to do something with AI. I just don't know where to start without breaking everything. Today, we fix that. Welcome to the Blair AI Rollout Podcast, where operations leaders get a structured, practical path to rolling out AI inside their organizations. I'm Steve, creator of the Blair AI Rollout Framework. And if you're responsible for workflows, teams, or outcomes, you're in the right place. No hype, no chaos, just a clear, responsible way to move AI forward inside your organization.
Listen to questions.
This week's listener question comes from David. David leads an IT team for a logistics company in Northern Illinois, and he says, I know we need to do something with AI. Leadership is pushing for it, and I feel the pressure. But honestly, I don't know where to start without disrupting the operations we already have running. We can't afford downtime, we can't afford chaos, and I don't want to roll something out just to have it blow up in my face. Oh, and one more thing, Steve. What does Blair actually mean anyway? David, great questions. All of them. Let's tackle the easy one first. Blair is actually my middle name. Stephen Blair Buckner. So no grand acronym, no secret meaning, just a bad middle name that turned into a framework. But here's the thing. The name stuck because it works. The Blair AI Rollout Framework is a structured, 5-stage system built specifically for operations leaders like David who need a clear, responsible path to rolling out AI without blowing up everything that's already working. And David, your question is going to drive everything we cover today, because what you're describing is exactly the situation the Blair framework was built for. So David, let's start with the most important thing I want you to hear today. You're not behind. You are unstructured, and those are very different things. Here's what I mean. In almost every organization I talk to, logistics, manufacturing, healthcare, financial services, AI is already showing up. Not because leadership rolled it out, not because IT approved it, but because people are practical. They found tools that make their day easier, and they started using them. Someone on your team is probably already using AI to summarize meeting notes. Someone else is using it to draft emails or build reports faster. Maybe someone in your warehouse operations is using it to pull together documentation. It's happening, with or without a plan. And here's the thing. That's not automatically bad. Early experimentation has real value. It tells you where AI can actually help inside your specific organization. The problem is when that experimentation grows faster than the structure around it. Nobody knows which tools are approved. Nobody knows what data is allowed. Nobody knows who reviews the outputs before they affect a customer, a shipment, or a business decision. And when leadership asks what the AI plan is, nobody has a clean answer. That's the gap, David. Not a technology gap, a structure gap. And a structure gap is something you can actually fix. That's good news. So, if the problem is structure, where do you actually start? This is where most organizations make their second mistake. They jump straight to tools. They ask, which AI platform should we buy? Or should we be using ChatGPT or something else? And before long, they're in a vendor demo with a 6-figure price tag and still no clear answer on who owns any of it. The Blair AI Rollout Framework flips that entirely. The first 30 days are not about tools at all. They're about clarity. Before David's logistics company introduces anything new, there are some foundational questions that need honest answers. Where is AI already being used inside the organization? Which teams are experimenting? What types of work are involved? And what risks are acceptable? And what risks are absolutely not? For a logistics company specifically, that last question matters a lot. You're dealing with supply chain data, vendor relationships, customer commitments, and operational timelines. Not every workflow is a good candidate for AI experimentation. Some need guardrails. Some need human review. Some should be left alone entirely, at least for now. Guardrails are not the enemy of progress, David. They're what make progress possible without blowing up the operations you've spent years building. This first stage also answers the ownership question. Who is responsible for AI decisions inside your organization? Who reviews outputs before they affect customers or employees? Who does an IT leader like David go to when a new tool shows up on a team without approval? When ownership is vague, and in most organizations it is, AI adoption becomes nobody's job and everybody's problem. Get clarity first. Define your guardrails. Establish ownership. That is the foundation everything else gets built on. All right, David. So you've got clarity. You've got guardrails. You know who owns what. Now what? This is where a lot of organizations either stall completely or overcorrect and try to roll AI out everywhere at once. Both are mistakes. The Blair framework takes a different path. One workflow, not a revolution. In the second 30 days, the goal is to identify one specific workflow inside your organization where AI can be tested safely, measured clearly, and reviewed responsibly. Not the most exciting workflow, not the biggest transformation, the most practical one. For a logistics company like yours, David, that might be internal documentation. It might be summarizing shift handoff notes. It might be drafting routine vendor communications or building out process checklists. Something real, something that people do every day. Something where if AI helps, you'll actually be able to tell. The best early AI pilots are honestly a little boring. And that's exactly the point. Boring means low risk. Boring means measurable. Boring means if something goes sideways, you haven't compromised a customer relationship or a critical shipment. But here's what makes a controlled pilot different from just letting someone try a tool. A real pilot has defined boundaries. It has selected participants. It has clear success criteria. You need to know going in what you're testing, who's involved, what data is allowed, and most importantly, what does success actually look like? Did it save time? Did it reduce rework? Did it improve consistency? Did it make your team's daily work easier to manage? Those are the questions that turn an experiment into evidence. And evidence is what you bring to leadership, David. Not enthusiasm, not a vendor demo, not a promise that AI is going to change everything. Evidence, measured, documented, real. That's how an IT leader at a logistics company in Northern Illinois walks into a leadership meeting and says, here's where we are, here's what we tested, here's what we learned, and here's what we recommend next. That's not just AI adoption. That's leadership.
AI hot tip.
Here's this week's AI hot tip. Before you try to figure out where AI should go inside your organization, start by mapping where it already is. Spend 30 minutes this week having informal conversations with 2 or 3 people on your team. Not a formal audit, not a survey, just a casual conversation. Ask them, are you using any AI tools in your day-to-day work? What are you using them for? You might be surprised what you find, because in most organizations, and David, this is especially true in logistics and operations, AI is already showing up in ways leadership doesn't fully see yet. And that informal map you create in 30 minutes, that becomes the foundation of your entire structure conversation. You can't build guardrails around what you don't know exists. So start there. Map it first. All right, let's bring it home. Here's what we covered today. First, if your organization feels behind on AI, you're probably not behind. You're unstructured, and that's a problem you can actually solve. Second, structure comes before tools. The first 30 days of any responsible AI rollout are about clarity, guardrails, and ownership, not software demos and vendor contracts. Third, start with one workflow, not a revolution. Find something practical, low risk, and measurable. Run a controlled pilot. Collect evidence. Then bring that evidence to leadership. And David, thank you for the question. You asked exactly the right thing at exactly the right time. And if you're listening from that logistics company in Northern Illinois, you've got this.
Optimistic AI thought of the week.
And finally, here's this week's optimistic AI thought of the week. There's a lot of noise out there about AI replacing jobs, disrupting industries, and moving faster than anyone can keep up with. And I get it. The headlines are loud. But here's what I see when I talk to operations leaders, directors, and managers who are actually doing this work thoughtfully. I see people who are choosing to lead instead of react. I see IT leaders like David who aren't waiting for someone above them to hand down a plan. They're asking the right questions, building the right structure, and positioning their organizations to move forward responsibly. That's not disruption. That's progress. And the organizations that take this seriously today, not frantically, not recklessly, but thoughtfully and deliberately, those are the ones that are going to look back 5 years from now and say, we got this right. You're one of those organizations. Keep going. That's a wrap on episode 1 of Season 3 of the Blair AI Rollout Podcast. If today's episode resonated with you, if you heard yourself in David's question, I want you to do one thing. Head over to blairts.com/framework. Take the free AI readiness score, explore the Blair AI Rollout Framework, and find out exactly where your organization stands today. Link is in the show notes. And keep those listener questions coming. Seriously, this show exists because of questions like David's. Send yours to steve@blairts.com. I read every single one, and your question could be the focus of a future episode. If you found value in today's episode, please take 30 seconds and leave a review wherever you listen. It helps more operations leaders find a show, and honestly, it means a lot. I'm Steve. This is the Blair AI Rollout Podcast. Let's roll this out the right way.